I am joined now by Miss Akilah Tompkins Robinson. Hey, Akilah.
Hey, everyone. Great to see you guys. I'm excited to have this conversation.
Yes, absolutely. I asked Akilah to join us tonight because for a lot of us, a lot of you all in the chat and for all of our winners, you are now newly for the first time podcast award winners. Okay. And let me tell you, I did a TikTok about this. It was a long time ago because I don't be on Akilah, don't get on me too bad.
It's okay.
Because
We're going to work
need
it
to
out.
do better. I know. One of my friends the other day, she was like, can I tell you something? I was like, what? She was like, you need to post more. I was like, girl, get out my face with that. Like, I already know. But Akilah is the SEO queen. Okay. If you do not know what SEO, it is search engine optimization. And if you're trying to figure out how to get your name out there in the internet streets, Akilah is your girl. She literally wrote the book on it. Okay?
I absolutely did. There is a book out there, my name on it.
There is.
And I'm all about getting out there, getting found, and getting visible. So you guys will hear me say that a lot. And you guys are already on your way because you're award-winning podcasters now.
Yes. So I wanted to have this conversation with you, Akilah, about for those who this is their first win or their first nomination, right? And they, are trying to get their name out there and get more recognition for themselves or just create more opportunities for themselves. How can they capitalize on this nomination and or win?
So the first thing I would say is this is, to me, one of the best awards to get a nomination from, not just because I'm here and I know everybody, but also because they actually put all of their nominee and winners information on the website. You'll be surprised how many people don't do that. But that is a really good thing for you guys because now your name is out there, which means now your name could be found. So when someone goes in and they search for you, not only are they going to see you and your social and the things that you put out there, but they're also going to see that you got this award in itself, or this nomination. So the first thing I'm going to say is make sure you make some collateral and some assets around winning. You should have some video of you watching this live stream. You should have a little bit of the snippets from when they were announcing the nominees. And if you're a winner, announcing the winners. You should have a conversation with like yourself, like almost how we're having a conversation here. Put up a camera and talk about like how they just focused on me, right? So you look just like this and talk about what does it feel like to be a winner. Now, I'm also going to tell you one thing not to fall into this trap, because a lot of people fall into this trap where they start talking to their peers and not to their audience. So when you have that conversation about what it feels like to be a winner, act like you're talking to your audience, not how you applied, not, what are the things you put together in your reel, not all of those kind of things, but really the feeling. What does it mean for the community? How does this help get your podcast message out there? So you should be creating all of this content to really showcase yourself as the winner that you are, the nominee that you are, and use that to further keep this win out there, keep it going. Also, very important, put it all on your website.
Yes.
I'm going to say it again, put it all on your website. I'm going to get close. Website. I always have to emphasize that because putting things on social is very temporary, right? Except for TikTok. TikTok's got a little bit more longevity, but they're all very temporary because of how the algorithms work. You want this to be on your website. So that way, again, when people are searching for you or they're searching for who's won, I need to interview an award-winning podcaster. Mm-hmm. If I'm doing that kind of search, I need your site to come up. So dedicate a whole page to clips and information, a little bit about what you won for, what you did in the actual show that made it amazing, and keep it in the perspective of your audience, not of your peers. That's really one of the most important things to not fall into that pitfall.
Yes, listen, Akilah has spoken. Okay. If I always listen, I bought your book and I haven't scheduled yet, but I'm going to. I ain't forget about you, girl.
I'm here.
I was preparing, I had something to do today,
busy.
But one of the things that I love about you and the way that you kind of like share your message is that you really break it down to the smallest pieces, like for somebody like me, social media is not really my thing. I'm a relatively private person. I think people would be surprised, I think, to think that or to know that, but I'm a relatively private person. And so the idea of, like you have to put your whole world and like everything, your whole life on the internet, like that's just something that does not really set well with me. And so I kind of have this barrier up when it comes to podcasting. But what I have realized is that as I continue to grow in this industry and continue to grow in this space, I have to build a presence for myself online. And so I purchased your book and I started going through it, and you have like worksheets and everything like that. And, just really breaking it down into small bite-sized pieces. One of the things that I always want to do, and I don't know if this is something that, I should be doing or not, but one of the things that I always want to do is when I have a moment like this, right, like winning an award or something like that, I want to share it and I want to tell, tell the world that this is a thing that happened. But I'm also very, very conscious of not coming off as boastful, if that makes sense, right? Because you may not be everybody cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody not listening to your podcast. And so some people might say, oh, she's just being boastful, or, like she just think she all that and this, that, and the other, So talk a little bit about how do you celebrate yourself and celebrate this win without coming off as like arrogant?
Well, so arrogant and boastful, I'm going to say are two different things, right? So arrogant is more snotty and snooty about it. Boastful is just sharing, overly sharing, right?
Yeah.
And I want us to be overly sharers, honestly. All of us out here as podcasters, as bloggers, content creators, we are people that should be talking about these things. And if you don't talk about it, no one's going to know about it, right? So I always tell that's the first thing. And I'm not saying, oh, just, get over it right now. It's a process, right? You share a little bit more, you share a little bit more, share a little bit more. Another thing you mentioned earlier is you don't have to share all of your life. Compartmentalize, right? You're a podcaster, so share your podcast journey, share the messages and information about things that you want your audience to know. Like if you follow me, while I do share a lot, you'll notice I don't share too much super personal things. You'll never see me crying online. I'm just not that person. Right? You might see my family, but family in reference to what I'm doing. You don't see me just like going shopping unless I'm going shopping for a business, something I'm doing. I'm more of a business content creator, right? And that's what's really important, is that you can be a certain type of content creator and you can share a lot about what's happening in one area of your life without having to share your entire area of your life. I think we get scared with content creation because we're thinking, I don't want everybody to know everything.
Yeah.
You don't have to share everything. You can literally share the messages you want to, just share them every day, right? And I always say batch and repurpose. If you look at my TikTok, I got on the same shirt for the last 5 videos. And that's because I batched it all on one day. And now I'm trickling them out day after day. But you want to start getting into that process. You've got a lot to share. Even like what we're doing here. I came in earlier and was taking some pictures and taking some clips. This is a week's worth of content, maybe a month's worth of content. And then I'll rerun it again in 3 months, right? So don't feel like you have to, again, share everything. Don't feel like you have to share everything. And don't feel like you have to do it all like every single minute of the day. Those things make it a lot easier. And I find it makes it easier not to feel as boastful. Like if I did all this one day and I schedule it out for a month, that lessens my fear of they're tired of hearing from me. I don't have a choice anymore. I scheduled it. They're going to hear from me, right? And you'll be surprised at how many people want to. And think about those people, the people that are like, I want to do this. I want to know more about this. I'm interested in just learning about her life, the same way we follow celebrities, the same way we watch the same TV show. People want to know what's going on. So think about those people. Don't think about the people who are going to be like, oh, she's just being arrogant. is. She's just being.
Yeah.
And even those people, they'll come around. They'll go from she's just being to, oh, I want to be her.
Yeah.
Real easy and real quick.
Listen, okay. If I was you, I'd want to be me too.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
So my last question for you, Akilah, before we get into the audience, feedback and questions and everything like that, is this year, for the first time, we actually had like some bigger names. Like this was the first year, I think, that we had some individuals who probably a lot of people know, right?
Mhm.
A lot of people know those names. A lot of people know those voices, right? And so for those of us, or for those who were nominated alongside those individuals, is there a way for them to capitalize, not like piggybacking on somebody else's fame, but to be able to say, like, I was nominated in the same category with this person who you already know to provide quality content. You already know that this person is, a big heavy hitter, et cetera, et cetera. And here I am nominated right next to them.
Yes.
Is there a way to capitalize on that?
Yes, absolutely. So when you're creating that content that I mentioned earlier, you want to make sure you say, I was in this category with one of the big names. I'm not going to yell out the names right now.
Yes.
Y'all know the names. Y'all been here, right? But you'll say, I was nominated with this person, or I won in a category with this person. Like, don't be afraid to say it. I think one of the biggest things that I know I work with people on, which is why the whole thing's about getting out there, getting found, and getting visible, not just the SEO part. The getting visible is really hard for people. The someone's going to look at me, even though you want them to, when they start doing it, it gets nervous, right? A little nervous,
Yeah.
right? So you want to just say it. Just let people know. Just mention, do a little either a carousel or do one of those little Reels videos where they show a bunch of pictures and say all the people that was nominated. It just might happen to be a big name person too, right?
Yeah.
I like to sprinkle it in, like, so it's not just all big name, big name, big name, but it's like emerging name, because I don't like to call people small. So emerging name, a middle of the road name, and a big name, right? And so you kind of switch those all in. If you're for some reason in a category that you weren't nominated with one of those people, because I know those folks are like, well, I'm not with them, right? You can still capitalize that the show itself, like the whole award ceremony, involved some of these big name people. People were showcased on here like this person, and me, right? So now you are in the round, in the lineup with those people that we might consider more bigger names, right? Everybody starts somewhere. Think about it like if it's a music artist, how they bring out one of their prodigies or proteges. Y'all know the words. Proteges. Thank you. They bring out one of them on the stage, and that's how we get to know. Like, I watched the Kanye West. I know some people don't like him, but that's all right. But I watched his whole little documentary, and one of the ways he came to fame was riding off the coattails of Mos Def and Talib Kweli. I'm gonna say that. Now, those names I'm gonna say out loud, right?
Absolutely.
But I mean, although you might feel a way about it, like I do, was still a very, very smart move. He came in as a newcomer. He came in on some of the same stages that they were on, and so when you started thinking about them, they thought about him, and then that's helped him to rise. You know how they say the tide rises all ships.
Yes.
Same thing. You guys are right now in the ship with the tide, with the people, right? So you want to make sure you're dropping those names. Just be a little bit of a name dropper. Not, like you said, not too much coattails. Don't say like, because of them you are, or because of you they are. Don't make it too much. But it's not, state the facts. The fact is, you've done an amazing thing. You've done an amazing job at the podcast and the work that you're doing. And these people have done the same, and they probably got a team doing it. You may have done it on your own. You deserve to get recognized right in those same categories because you are.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of the Black Podcasting Awards, in my opinion, is that there is no hierarchy here. Like the prerequisite is to be unapologetically Black in your creativity. And so it does not really matter what level you're at. You can stand, an indie podcaster can stand next to a seasoned podcaster, et cetera, because the work speaks for itself. yourself. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? And everybody gets an equal opportunity. And I really love that. I think it's one of the best things about this particular award show.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I like supporting you guys so much.
Yay. Thank you so much, Akila, for
You're welcome.
joining us. I love you, girl. I'm gonna schedule that appointment. I'm gonna do that. I promise you. I'm gonna make it happen.
I'm always here.
Yes. I be
Never
laying in
rushing
bed
you,
with your
always
book.
here.
Yes, yes.
But we are also going to talk about your posting just a little bit more. We're going to talk about the scheduling thing we talked about. So that's the after show, y'all.
Yeah, she gonna get me together, y'all. Akila gonna get me together.